take your yarn and make a slip knot. So now I'm just going to chain a total of 8. So I'm going to place a double crochet in the 3rd chain. Then you're going to be placing 1 double crochet in every chain left in the row. This counts as 1 chain, so you're going to have a total of 6. So once you are finished with that, then you're going to chain 2 to begin on the next row, flip over your work, and you're going to be placing a total of 7 double crochets in each row. So that's all you're going to be doing. You're just going to be repeating this for as many rows as it takes to completely circle around your bag. That'll probably be around 37 rows. So just go ahead and repeat all of these double crochet rows. Chain 2 at the beginning of each row. Will be a total of 7. Total of 7 double crochets in every chain. In every row, sorry. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. Yeah. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip through this, and I will come back once I've finished. So now when you are finished with your side panel, you should have 3 separate pieces for your bag. This is the back panel with the front flap connected to it, and then we have the front panel and the side panel. So now we are going to be connecting all 3 of these together. I am going to take my front panel and side panel first and connect them. So you're gonna wanna just figure out which sides you want facing the front. It really doesn't matter unless you have some knots or something that you wanna hide in the back. So I'm gonna connect these 2. I'm just going to join them up and then flip them together. So the front panels, the front sides that you want are both facing outward. Then I'm just going to align it up on the very corner. So this is the kind of straightaway that we want on the very top of the bag. So you can find that by finding the triple crochet in the corner or on the other side where your knot is. So I'm just going to align that and put my hook through both sides. And then I'm going to take my yarn and just loop that through both sides. And then I'm going to connect that with a double knot. So now to get started, I am just going to, so we're gonna have both of them connected together. We're gonna be crocheting along this side of the bag. So just stick your hook through where you just connected with your double knot, yarn over, pull through, and then this is going to be the beginning. You're going to be placing single crochets through every stitch as best as you can, because some of the stitches will be kind of hard to find. So you're just going to be connecting through both sides with single crochets, and you're going to continue that all the way until you have connected this entire side panel to the front panel. So now you should have your side panel attached to the front. You will have a little bit of a like ridge on the front part of it, which is what you want because we're going to be adding edging onto that. But before we do that, I am going to crochet the back panel along the other side the same exact way that we did the front. So the only thing is, for the top flap that you want hanging over the front part of your bag. Remember how we crocheted into the back stitch? So you want the little crease to be facing on the outside so that it lays flat when you are using your bag. So this is going to be the front part of the back, and then I'm just going to attach it the same way that I did the front panel. So I'm just going to align it to the very edge and then attach my hook and do single crochets all the way around. So I am going to skip ahead of that because it's exactly what we just did. So just go ahead and finish that, and then I will be back once I'm done. Now that I have both front and back panels attached to the side panel, I am going to get started on the little pattern around the edges. So all I'm going to do for that is, I guess I'll just start. You could start anywhere along the back, but we're going to be crocheting along the single crochet chain that we made to connect the front and the side panels. So I'm just going to put my hook through a random single crochet chain. This is actually the beginning of my single crochet chain. I'm just going to thread my yarn through and place a double knot. Just going to yarn over so I can start my row. Yarn over, pull through that loop. I'm going to go back through the same exact chain and place a single crochet. So then I am going to skip the next 2 stitches and then go in with a double crochet on the 3rd stitch. I'm going to be placing a total of 5 double crochets in this same stitch. So then you should have a little shell. And then now I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches and then place a single crochet in the 3rd stitch. So then once I have that, then I'm going to place 1 more single crochet in that same chain. Then I'm going to skip 2 stitches again and then place 5 double crochets in this stitch. So that is going to be my pattern for my little shell lining. That's all I'm going to do to finish off the bag. Then all we have left to do is sew in a lining. If you're not comfortable sewing in a lining, I mean, I guess you can leave it like this, but you will have pretty large holes in your bag. So I'm going to go through exactly how I do that, and then I'm going to make a strap, and then we are basically done. So I'm just going to skip through until I reach the other side because I am going to continue the shell lining along the flap of the bag. So I will show you how I do that, but for now all I'm going to do is repeat this pattern along the edges until I reach the end. So once I have the 5, I'm skipping 2. In the 3rd chain I'm placing 2 single crochets. Then again I'm skipping 2 chains, and in the 3rd chain I'm placing 5 double crochets. So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and repeat this and then come back once I'm finished. So now I've crocheted my lining all the way until I reach the end of the bag portion. So now I am going to be placing this shell pattern along the front part. So I am just going to hold this up, and there'll be less definitive chains, but you're going to just kind of like guess out the spaces. So yeah. So I ended on 2 single crochets, so I'm gonna just kind of skip into this random chain right here. There aren't really 2 chains at the end of the bag, but I don't want the 5 double crochets to be too far apart because then it'll pull on the lining and then make it curl inward. So I'm just gonna place it right here, my 5 double crochets. And then I am just gonna kind of guess where my next single crochet should be. So I'm just gonna skip over this chain and then go into the next random space right there and place 2 single crochets. And then again, just kind of choosing where the best place to put the next 5 double crochets. I'm just gonna go through this whole thing. So really it's up to you, use your own discretion. It's not that big of a deal, like where you put it and whatnot. I know some people like to be really precise when they crochet, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm definitely not one of those people though, so I'm sorry if that's annoying to you, but this is just what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through and finish this pattern. As you can see, I'm just choosing random places that are spaced not too far apart. So I ended with 2 single crochets on the almost the corner piece. I am just going to go into the very corner piece of the bag, and then this is where I am going to place my 5 double crochets, just so that the corner kind of fans a little bit. So this will be my corner piece. Then I'm just gonna skip over 1 and then place my single crochets, just so that the corner has a nice turn to it and it doesn't curl in too much. Oops. So I'm just gonna go through the second, place my 2 single crochets, and then now we have actual chain spaces. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue the skip 2. So then I'm just going to continue along this side and then do exactly what I did along the other side, and then cut it and tie it once I reach the place where I started. So I'm going to do the same thing for the front of the bag. I'm going to cut and tie a double knot on the very corner and then do the shell pattern along the entire front of the bag. So yeah, I'm just going to skip ahead of that and then come back once I'm finished. So this is what you should have once you are finished with all of the edging for your bag. So now I'm just going to be sewing in a lining, just because it will be kind of too holy to put anything in the bag. So I just used the bag as a template and cut out 3 pieces of fabric. So I did a front panel, side panel, and a back panel, and I'm just going to be attaching it basically the same way I crocheted my panels together, and I'm going to be hand sewing it. If you're uncomfortable sewing, there are fabric glues you could use. I'm not sure how sturdy that would be, but I am just gonna pretty poorly sew this together. So this is what it looks like once you have one side sewn to the other side. I am just going to add the last piece and then sew it the same exact way. So I'm just lining it up and sewing it around, and the sewn part that you are making will be on the outside of the bag. So once you are completely finished, the inside is going to be what looks nice, because that's what you're going to see when you put things in your bag. So you're going to keep the sewn part on the outside and then just stuff it into your bag. So now I'm just going to fold in the top flap so that it has a nice edging along the top of it, and then I'm going to line it up to the inside of the bag. So now the same way that I hand sewed all of the panels together, I'm going to sew it to the top lining of the bag. So I am putting my knot on the inside, and then I am just going to go back and forth with my needle and thread. And ideally you would want to use a cream colored string. I only had yellow or bright colors, so I just used yellow, but you could do whatever you want. It's not that big of a deal what color your string is. But so yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go all the way around the top lining, and I'm just going to hand sew the inside to the outside. So this is what it looks like once you are finished. So now all that's left to do is add the tassels and then the strap. So for the tassels, all I'm going to do is unravel whatever length of yarn that you want, however long you want your tassels to be, and I'm going to cut it and then do that 5 times. So each tassel will have 5 long things of string in it, and then once I have my 5 pieces, I'm going to fold it in half, and then this is where I'm going to attach it to my bag. And then I'm just gonna thread that through and then act like you're making a slip stitch. I guess this is kind of a slip knot, so I'm just going to thread it through and then pull the remainder and then tighten it. So then I'm just going to repeat that process for the remaining tassels. So then for the bottom tassels, I'm just going in the center of the bottom of the bag, and I'm just going to pick random chains to place my tassels through, and I'm going to do the same exact thing that I did for the top of the bag. And you could add as many tassels as you want. So I decided to add 8 along the bottom. And then now I'm gonna get started on the strap. So I did double up my yarn, so I'm crocheting 2 pieces at once. I'm just gonna pick a chain along the side and attach my doubled up yarn with a double knot. I'm gonna go through that same chain, pull it through, and then I'm going to chain, I believe I chained 6. So yeah, once I have the 6, then I'm just going to attach it to another chain along the side of the bag. And then I'm going to loop that through and then secure it with a double knot. And then I am just going to weave those in later, and I repeated that again to the other side. So then I am going to tie a double knot to this little loop we created on the side of the bag. And then I'm just going to create a basic crochet. So you're going to just do a crochet chain for as long as you want your strap to be, and then you just attach it to the other side with a double knot. And that's really all I did for the strap. If you want your strap to be thicker, you can go back through and do a row along your chain to make it a thicker strap. I was okay with the thinness of the strap, so I just left it. But once you're finished with that, then you're completely done with your bag. I hope you guys like this tutorial. I really love how this bag came out. I hope you guys like it as much as I do. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.